controversial subjects with the facts can be tense, but we are Ace Up Science here to make things make sense.
There's a lot of research on this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think there would be, but there is.
Time management, so fascinating. I want to bring this up again because we were just talking about it in the other section. Greg thinks it's weird to like spend a day watching TV.
Yeah, I do.
And I just feel like I need people out there
So
to
many people don't
defend
think it's
me.
weird.
And I didn't even spend a day. I probably spent 4 to 5 hours because we were gone and I had to catch up on so many things. And I was like, we've been traveling, bustling, moving around. So to come back and have a day that I could just like chill, eat snacks, catch up on my favorite shows was beautiful. But you really, really judged me, and I'm just here to throw you to the wolves
this
of the internet.
Does not feel like it has anything to do with time management. This has to do with you vindictively getting back to me.
No, because you were like, I'm gonna be also productive, and I'm gonna like go to work.
Yeah, well, I did have to unpack. I did have to prep for the upcoming things we need to do after having we're just different people.
Okay.
God.
Well, okay. That sets the boundary, or sorry, it sets the sort of beginning of this to let you know that Greg is the time management. Like, you're very into being productive and organizing your day and your week and your hour. And I'm like a bit more flowy.
Okay, so I was like, yeah, how is that relating? How is me going, oh, another episode of Big Brother, right?
Because you were thinking about time management. You were like already thinking about, first of all, it was a Sunday, but you were already thinking about work that had to be done and how to fit it in.
Yeah.
And that,
yeah.
I think people who care about time management and are obsessed with productivity, like, would have a harder time watching an extended amount of TV.
So you're saying I'm obsessed with productivity, but you're the productivity obsessive king over there.
I am not.
You are constantly Google productivity bro on YouTube.
That's so true. I like to read books that are self-helpy, and sometimes they touch into productivity, but not normally. It's normally like how to get over the desire to be productive when you're like a lazy little shit.
Oh, okay. Well, one study I read, which I thought was really interesting, was about how teachers and people who are in educational spaces where they're learning to be teachers, which is what I did. I have a teaching degree.
Brad.
I actually have a teaching degree, so I am a teacher to the masses, folks. But that's what you're taught in teachers' college is time management. I didn't realize, and that's so true. Like, most of what not most, but a big part about being a teacher and learning to be a teacher is lesson plans. And one of the biggest parts about lesson plans is making sure that you're accurately putting down how much time each activity is going to take. So you really need to plan properly your time, or else you end up, which is hell if you're a teacher, when you're done everything and there's half an hour left in a lesson and the kids can tell you're flailing and all of a sudden you're dancing like a clown. Like, come on, my
So in that case, you mean being able to accurately understand how long things will take, whether for shorter or longer.
Yes. And so I think that this was talking about how time management skills are really important in teachers' colleges. You learn that it's important for teachers. Then within that, they surveyed a bunch of teachers about time management to find out that women are a lot better than men at it in this survey, was the only real takeaway from the actual study. And that older teacher students were better at time management than the young teacher students who were coming in right out of university. So
that was like an experience thing, do you think? Like,
it was just a study of like essentially surveying people on their time management skills while also assessing them based on the lesson plans that they'd made. And that's just what they came away with. So it wasn't like, it was like, obviously you could infer that like as you age, you get better. Right. But they just found the older people were better at it. But I was like, that is interesting that I've like been in this, like, and I was a teacher and I'm like, that was such a big part of it. Maybe that's why I like enjoy it.
It's funny because it actually, I think if someone were to guess from the outside, they would think that I'm better at time management. Don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it matches my personality more, and it matches yours to be the like not planning, but like we are the opposite. Like
I know.
We're confusing. I hate planning things.
Mitch is like actually like has a planning phobia.
But I think that's a disorder. Like, it is a phobia. Like, I think,
wait, what?
No, I think like it comes out of not that I don't want to plan, but that I can become so neurotic about planning that I just fall down too many holes. And so, I don't know. I think I often wait till the last minute because then I don't have as much time to waste. Like, if I, like, for example, if I start, like, my birthday is coming up and you are kind of planning that. And I feel like I overthink. If I'm going to start planning a birthday, like, a week in advance, I'm going to start, like, overthinking and over obsessing about every single detail that probably doesn't actually matter in the long run to me, but I'm gonna like look into an idea and like I don't know. I just feel like I fall down too many rabbit holes.
Okay, so one of the tips from some of these like science articles about time management, which reminds me of that for you, which is interesting, and I've watched this happen to you, is that you should, for better time management, always stop and focus on the most important tasks first and leave the least important tasks for later. And I think something that I've noticed about you is that you have a hard time assessing what is important and what isn't. And sometimes you come to me for it and I go, that's important, that's not. Like it's like you and that's part of I think the time management issue is being able to be like, I look at you, I'm like, that's not the thing to focus on. But all of a sudden,
because that's me being anxious about something, and then everything in my brain becomes like equally important, and as a result, I just like waste time.
So you self-identify as having bad time management skills? I didn't think it was like you have bad time management skills.
No, I self-identify as not thinking that time management is so important, actually. But I do think I don't have amazing time management skills. However, on the grand scale of lots of people, like I do think I'm a fairly productive person. Yeah. I do think like I do have good time management skills, but you certainly have like visibly much better time management skills. But that's just between the two of us. I think in general, when I have a task, I can accomplish it. You know what I mean? Like we've been making videos for 10 years now. Like I know how to do it.
I know. I
know how to do work, and I did.
It's
well
not like
we're
doing this to just like laugh in your face.
No. And I know there are some people who struggle a lot more with time management. Like I always was a person who would work hard and do it, but there's something freeing about not always feeling like you have to be on the clock. I don't know. It stresses me out, I think, to make a plan that I can't stick to.
Yeah.
That might be like a bit of perfectionism. Like I get really thrown off if I plan a certain amount of time and it doesn't work. Like then I'm an hour behind.
You're scared of that. That's part of why I think you don't plan things with time, because you're scared you're not going to be able to finish it.
Well, okay. If it's okay for me to talk about
do it.
Yeah. I want to talk about the different ways that like cultures perceive time and time management. But first I will give it to you, because I read one kind of like overview study on time management related to the culture thing that found that time management behaviors are positively related to
death,
job satisfaction, health, and negatively related to stress.
Yeah, I read.
You know what I mean?
I read a study that was like,
which makes sense.
Yeah, it was like people with poor time management skills have increased anxiety, and I was like,
okay,
ooh.
fine.
What do you mean? Give it to me? You mean just like being
like giving you the point?
Because I what?
Because you time manage, and like it's like you're for time management and I'm not. But I'm being like, no.
Okay.
I understand that time management is positive in many ways.
No, that is interesting, because maybe I could like I do sometimes seem like a true like psycho soldier in life, when really it's like that's not fun, but maybe I am like, but
there are
it
positive
is.
elements of it.
Okay.
Yeah. However, the relationship with work and academic performance is not clear. So just because you're good at time management, it's not like necessarily that you're going to be smarter.
Oh God, yeah, like I'm dumb. Just because I'm spending an hour doing a task doesn't mean I'm doing it well.
Like he's just laying his head over here on my feet.
And we know that dogs can relieve pain.
See, I don't need time management. I just need a dog. Okay, back to cultures. So there are 3 identified like time perceptions when it comes to overall time and time management. The first is a linear view, and this is you, honey.
This is us, right? Or just me?
It is.
Me.
It is us, because we're both from like the same upbringing and culture.
Yeah.
But basically, this is time flowing from one moment to the next in a linear fashion. Yeah. It's prevalent in North America, places like Germany,
very
Switzerland,
prevalent in North America, I must say,
and Germany. It's like kind of like the premise.
Like
people who are from Germany, as the example on the research I was reading, really struggle with the other kinds of time perceptions.
German people seem to struggle with like a lot of things that like to me don't like. If I can't picture a German person not like being time managed,
being so good at time management,
like you know what I mean. Like imagine a German person who was like laissez-faire. It's like no, that
doesn't
weird.
exist.
You're French.
Okay, so people in these cultures tend to place a large value on productive time management and tend to avoid decisions or actions that would result in wasted time.
That is me. I'm psycho.
You, in a nutshell, you hate the idea of wasting time.
I can't watch reality TV because I'm like, it's a waste of time. I need to learn through a plot.
And you're a fast decision maker. You can't even linger on a decision too long because it's a waste of time.
I think instincts are really good.
Okay, nice to know.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're just really great things to follow.
Oh my God.
I haven't
because
died yet.
I'm sorry I'm talking about the dog, but I like kiss the dog all the time. And because he's here, I almost kissed the mic. I was like,
Aw.
right on it. Okay. These cultures tend to be monochronic, I guess is the word, which means they prefer to do one thing at a time and focus on a singular task.
Yeah, me too. List, task,
Yes.
cross.
Okay. Multi-active time perception.
Okay, cool. Into
Okay.
this.
So these
Into
people
this.
feel that more activities or tasks being done at once is better. It creates a sense of happiness, like having
At
a lot
once?
to do. Yes. So in business environments, they often pay little attention to how long meetings last. Rather, they focus on having high quality meetings. So like specific time slots are not nearly as
Oh, I
important.
see. Because they could be getting real good at the 1 hour
it's about like
mark.
allowing everything in.
Yeah.
Like if it's short, it's short. If it's long, it's long. You can picture these cultures where like time is kind of
It's
not meaningless.
This
but
feels like having just been in Colombia. Like, this feels Spanish.
This is Latin. Is one of
like,
them. So,
maybe cancel me. Like, I don't know, but it feels Spanish.
so the culture focus tends to be on synergy and creativity over efficiency.
That's so much cooler than, ew, I hate mine now.
And so it's prominent in Southern European countries like Spain, Portugal, and Italy.
There we
But
go.
also like Latin cultures and I believe like Arab cultures as well.
That's so much cooler than, ew, I can't believe I'm the North American German one.
Like obviously, look at you.
Oh, God.
So there's a couple like quotes they gave to kind of like compare it linear to this one. So it's like, I have to rush, says the American. My time is up. Whereas it said the
Yeah.
Spaniard or Arab, scornful of this submissive attitude to schedules, would
hot.
only use this expression if death were imminent.
Okay, that's a bit
My
much.
time is up. You know what I mean? If they were like,
Yeah.
I have to go, I'm going to die.
Okay, that is like so over
Says
the
in
top.
countries inhabited by linear active people, time is a clock and calendar related, segmented. It's clock and calendar related, segmented in an abstract manner for our convenience, measurement, and disposal.
Yeah.
In multi-active cultures like the Arab and Latin spheres, time is event or personality related, a subjective commodity which can be manipulated, molded, stretched, or dispensed with irrespective of what the clock says.
Yeah, wow.
Isn't that cool though? Because
That
you
is
often hear
cool.
about people make jokes about like white people showing up on time to parties.
Yeah,
or,
okay.
like,
We
you know what I
once
mean?
showed up to Lily Singh's birthday party on time and fully had to eat dinner with her family and like and
And it
blow
was like
out her
the,
candles. And
the
she was
invite
like,
literally
oh
said,
my
"Come
God.
after 7, the doors are closed," and we show
Yeah.
up at right
And
at
she
7.
literally opened and was like, oh my God, you white people are so funny. And we came in and we're like, hi to like all her aunts and uncles who were like going to leave in 2 hours before all her actual friends came.
True. It feels like a real thing, right?
And they like, yeah. No, we don't need to go into it. But yeah, like the Germans are on time and
Yeah. Okay, so now the final one is a cyclical time view. So time in this sense is not linear or event related, but it's cyclical. So like how days, months, years, seasons, and events happen in
want
repetitive
this one,
occurrences,
too.
time is seen as like repetitive occurrences. So in this sense, time is never seen as wasted because it will always come back. It's like kind of a beautiful thing, which means though, these cultures often take a lot of time to think about things because they're not concerned about wasting time. So it's like really deep thinking. It's prevalent through countries in Asia, including Japan and China. I want to send you like the article that was highlighting these because like the distinctions between China and Japan were also really fascinating because obviously Japan is like very like when you go there, it's like every train is always on time and everything is like so
Yeah,
organized.
remember we would take trains at like 5:53.
They'd come on the dot,
and
yeah.
then they were there at 53. It was like, this is horrifying.
unbelievable. But it still was talking about how this like life view still permeates through like Japanese culture as well. And I thought it was really interesting. But yeah, those are basic.
I still don't
basic
really
thing.
get the cyclical one though. It's like
That's
what do
why
you
I was
mean?
reading it and I was like, I'm not going to be able to articulate
Okay,
this.
yeah,
I
because
want
it's
to
like
show it to you.
if you always just think that there's gonna be more time. It just doesn't seem like Japan and China are the places where they're just like, oh, we'll do it later.
It's
Like,
not about just
getting
doing it
done
later.
there.
It's just not about always like linear. I don't know. I got to look more into this one. I knew you were going to ask. I knew it. I was like, I need
Well-
to study this more, but we were okay. In classic fashion, I didn't have enough time to do this and
Yeah,
I was
that's
panicking.
so
I was
funny.
like going through this article. I was like, it's
No,
way
that's
too
fine.
long.
That's fine. We're gonna all do our homework. If you listen to Side Note, we all now have homework, and it's up to you with your newfound understanding of time management skills and where you fall to find out what cyclical time management is.
It was the most fascinating one, I would say, but there was the most written about it.
Let's not say that. I love
Oh.
that. It's like the one you're like, it's
No,
so
you're right.
fascinating. No, but
I guess I
cyclical
just
was
meant-
boring. That's why we went.
No, it's just
scrimped on
fascinating
it.
because
I'm
it's
just kidding.
the furthest away from our culture. So I was like,
Yeah.
to read about it was very interesting, but it was harder for me to grasp it. Like it would, the article talked a lot about how both like linear and the other one, like have a hard time dealing with
Ew,
cyclical.
I'm so linear. Even the word linear, it's like it's never good. You know what I mean? Cyclical is always better than linear.
Yeah.
As a concept, cyclical means like it's literally like reincarnation energy. Linear is like you die and then there's nothing. Okay, so I have another study about time attitudes, which kind of sounds like what you were talking about, but this was not
Imagine you just
nearly...
repeated the exact same thing. You're like,
I was like,
so there's
in
3 time
attitudes.
attitudes.
Cyclical. I don't really understand it.
It's like a
Everyone look it
circle.
up. Okay, but it was saying that this was about how people have different attitudes towards paying attention to time and being able to assess and spare more time for certain activities and just essentially being able to judge how long things are going to take. And that some people have attitudes towards that are positive, where they kind of like enjoy it.
Enjoy.
Like just understanding and like trying to figure out how long things are going to take in their life. Whereas other people have negative attitudes toward it and trying to avoid it. And then they end up having issues with time management because it like stresses them out to even think about it.
Well, it sounds like me. It sounds like you're talking about me.
Well, literally, it was like, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I do enjoy, like, you'll pitch something. I'll be like, okay, that's great. That'll be at about an hour and a half. So we can't do it because we have a reservation at 7. Like, do you know what I mean?
And I'll be
I'm just
like, oh, really?
You'll be like, wait, really? And like at 7?
Like, I would have gone and done the thing and then been like,
Yeah.
fuck, we have a reservation.
Like, and there have been times where truly I've been like, Mitch is going to be here in an hour because he's like lost in a forest because he did not properly time manage his Saturday. But
That's
not
so
lost,
true.
but he's just like too far away physically because he didn't realize he has to walk back.
Yeah.
But they were saying that it's actually a big part of elementary school education is to start to understand time management.
Okay, drag me to the
Catholic
core of the
schools.
earth.
They say here that Catholic schools are really bad at teaching it. I'm
No,
kidding.
you're just like, so elementary class is where you actually missed this. Like,
well,
okay.
hello.
I was in Oliver. I missed a year of school.
Maybe when you missed grade 6 is when they did time management. But I didn't know, just because I like learned to be a secondary school teacher, and I'm just curious if I went to if I was in elementary, if I was like learning about how you teach kids about time management. But they said that it's taught by your family and by teachers and friends, and is like a developmental, like it's an important thing that people like learn during development, whether they're gonna kind of like enjoy essentially time management and like understanding how or not. And like it's not saying that like, yeah, like I actually do love thinking that you missed the unit on it in grade 6. And then constant surveys about how women are just like better at it than men, which I think is like interesting because women
So
have
surprising, even at a young age, like most girls outperform boys, right?
like at everything. And it's just like, of course, women are
not
better
everything.
at time management because like all of society relies on them to do so much more. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, like they're like, well, yeah, I have to figure out how to do like everything for me and also look after this like man who can't do anything. Also, interrupt coalescing is like this thing that people do when they struggle with time management, and apparently is like linked into coding. You know how like when you read like articles, science articles, and they're trying to make something more confusing than it is, they're like, it's a concept in coding. I was like,
You're like,
nah,
I don't need to learn about
that's
that.
weird. Yeah. So it was like, for example, instead of paying your monthly bills one by one as you receive them, you just pay them all together on a fixed day, and just remember like, and we do that with emails. It's like, we only do emails on certain hours of certain days. That's a really smart time management skill because you then don't have to even think as things come in to look at them, and then essentially like potentially lose the hours or minutes it takes to do that throughout. Like,
What was
the
this
day.
called again? You gave it a name?
It's called being successful at interrupt coalescing. So it's
Interrupt
kind of figuring out how to like not cause interruptions, which can really like create issues. But one that I thought was really interesting was that you have interruption days and focus days. So in your life, and they weren't even necessarily just talking about work, they were also talking about like the weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
You have days where you open yourselves up yourself up to interruptions, and days where you say, no, this is my task, and zero interruptions.
Sacred time.
Yeah. And, or you just like, and that they said that's like a really helpful thing for people with time management issues, because they can give themselves the days where they're allowed to sort of just like feel the way they feel, get interrupted, not feel bad. Then other days where they go, you know what, I know I'm bad at time management, so I have 2 tasks today and I'm just going to like do them.
Here's the
kind of like
thing
that, I thought.
I'm going to say, like, because I also have tips about how to be better at time management from a neuroscientist. But like sometimes it's like, I have 2 things to say. One is just like, is it better? Do we need to try so hard? You know, like, I don't know. It's like this productivity conversation where it's like people have gone so far with productivity. All we are is walking money machines. You know what I mean? Just like making money for something else.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Yeah.
And that time management to me seems pretty linked to productivity. Like, I don't think that like cave people were time managing their days. You know what I mean?
That's
maybe
okay.
they were.
No,
Maybe
but
they
this
were.
is so interesting because I'm like, I think not.
Obviously, to a degree, like it's a human trait to be able to think about the future, and that is amazing. And so it's like finding the balance between these amazing cognitive abilities we have and using them where necessary. But maybe what you just said, where it's like, but also knowing when to let go and have a day where you don't have to do that and you can just chill.
I think it's
like a Sunday when you want to watch 5 hours of TV.
I think what you think a lot about is work and productivity, but I'm not thinking about that when I'm thinking about time management. I'm thinking about almost what we were talking about earlier on, like traveling, new experiences. I'm thinking about like, how do I get to go out for dinner and see a movie and go for cocktails? Like, are you kidding? I hate doing work. Like, it's like a lot of the time, like my time management is around fun. It's around like, how do I have the most fun? How do I write so I feel good about myself? And then finish enough of that to feel good about myself to then go birding with a friend. Like, and then go birding with a friend for 3 hours and make sure I can make it to dinner and a movie. Like, I think maybe it's worth thinking. It's like time management doesn't have to always be linked to work. And maybe that's why you potentially hate thinking about it, because you only think about it with work.
Yeah, I mostly
when really
do.
It's like, it's like time managing your fun.
Yeah. No, it's true. Do you know what it is? Time management feels like work to me.
That's because of the attitude thing I was talking about.
But it's not, I guess.
To me, I love
it.
it.
I guess I do associate it with work, but also doing it is work. So when I'm like doing it from my spare time, I'm like, oh, this is just work. Like,
oh, I see. Like, even just planning is work.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like waking up on a Saturday and planning my day is like, no.
Oh my God.
It's
That
the
is
weekend.
like so weird. That is not work to me. That is like the most joyful thing, to have a free open day ahead of me. And sitting with like my little notebook and deciding what I'm going to do is like, honestly, literally so fun. Like the most fun part of the day.
The
is
best
planning
part
the day.
about waking up is Folgers in your cup. Imagine this is sponsored by Folgers.
And just end it.
No, the best part for me about Saturday morning is having a coffee and being like, I do not have to think. I do not have to plan. Like, because every other day during the week, I do like go, okay, what do I have to do today? I get my notepad.
But then
out.
aren't you like, now what do I do?
Eventually,
Like,
but I do it in my
that makes
brain.
me go crazy.
Eventually, I do, but I wait till I'm like feeling it. And you're right. Sometimes it
you
leads
go
to
crazy
problems.
and roll around on the ground for 3 hours and go, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, girl, make a list.
And I agree that sometimes I'm like, damn it, I do sometimes regret it. So I do want to improve. But it's a balancing act, because sometimes when I'm overly prepared and thinking of things, it just feels like, well, this isn't relaxing. This is work.
It's just so interesting, because I'm like, it's just about our perceptions of time management. Like, I bet a lot of people can relate to either enjoying time management, which I genuinely do, or just thinking it's a burden.
Like, I was going to say a second thing, which was when it comes to these tips. Sometimes tips, like I want to share mine, but sometimes they're just like
annoying.
Like one of them, even from this neuroscientist, I think, was like, start early. And it's like, well,
like,
okay, I knew that.
No, but like, that's the thing I just can't
like, I don't want to do it. You know, like
I love pretending I have good time management. It's like, I hope no one ever thinks I did anything early, because I didn't.
No, you're definitely a procrastinator as well.
This is what my point is about work. I'm really good at time managing those days when I'm having fun and avoiding work. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I never, ever was like, I'm good at time managing fun. Like, literally, like I'm good at like fitting in fun. And then as soon as work comes, like, I guess I'm like, I'll use my skills of fun time management for this, but it's not like I'm like doing all these tasks early.
Yeah.
Like I'm just as bad as you at like procrastinating.
Yeah, you definitely wait till the last minute. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so can I talk about some of my tips?
Yes,
I'm a
let's just do it.
neuroscientist.
Let's just
I
do
picked
it.
the ones that were not annoying because I was like,
Okay.
some of them I was just like, well, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Anytime I've tried, and this is maybe just life, you know, you read a new self-help book, you try it, and then eventually you lose motivation, and
Yeah.
you're like, those don't stick anymore.
Yeah, that life is just reading self-help books, doing them for 2 weeks, and then moving
and then being
on,
like,
and then
I
you die.
need something else.
Yeah, true.
There's three kind of like main headings here. The first is just making space, and like you said
What?
earlier, like making space for the things you need. So I'm gonna explain. Okay. Sometimes you don't have to ask what in the middle of a movie. It's like we both don't know yet.
What? Making space? Please clarify.
Let me do that. So how you were talking about here, they called it like a cognitive restart when you have to leave something and come back.
Yeah.
There's like an effort that you have to put to restart
The
everything.
switch cost effect.
Yeah, and so as opposed to like filling a day with meetings and emails and small things and then only leaving like small windows for you to do your important work, it's like make a larger amount of space for your hard work because it costs so much energy just to start them.
Yeah.
And if you leave it, you have to re-enter them. And this happens to me all the time, especially when I'm writing scripts. You know, you have all these tabs, you're reading all this stuff, you're soaking it in. And then if you leave and come back later or another day, you kind of actually forget a lot of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're like, oh, damn, I
Yeah.
kind of thought I'd remember, but now I forgot like which page, which of my 80 tabs was that one paragraph in that I want to read again.
You were in flow.
Yeah.
And then you're pulled out of
then
flow.
it was like, make this space consistent. So regardless of whether you're getting a lot of work done, it's like consistency in time and place aids in memory. So if you're
Okay.
always doing your hard work in a same spot over a same period of time, as opposed to just all your little work, that's gonna like aid your
That's romantic. It makes me think of like when in Little Woman, she's like writing her book and looking out the window and eating the orange, and she's always writing her book in the same place under the same candlelight.
Yeah.
And she
Romantic.
didn't have a smartphone distracting her. I bet
Oh
she
yeah,
was
the next one is
so good.
never multitask and remove distractions.
Yeah,
This is what you are not good at, and I'm surprised you're so good at time
Wait,
management.
What am I not good at?
You're a multitasker to the max, and I'm like,
What?
But maybe when you're working,
No,
you
I'm
do
not.
turn off things.
I'm not. I can't multitask.
I feel like you're listening to music.
Oh.
You have social media
Oh.
nearby. You're like working on
No.
things.
So I have to throw my phone against the wall and shatter it in order to do any work.
Okay, but you can.
But I
listen.
do listen to music. That's
Okay.
fair.
But that, I guess, some people maybe would consider that not multitasking.
I need to get Slack to not come in my AirPods.
You should figure that out.
Because that's like really bad. I'm like working and then it's like
and
Slack
it literally is like
message.
you need to remove cues for other tasks during this hard work period.
Yeah,
So like
okay.
anything that will make you think of email or social media. So whether that's notifications on your phone going off or tabs on your computer or even just seeing your phone. I actually find the most helpful thing for myself if I
Out of the
can
room.
see my phone, even if I put it behind my computer, my brain just forgets. It
Oh.
honestly forgets that it's behind it.
Yeah, out
or I
of
hide it
your
under a
frickin'
book.
sight.
Yeah, but if I
Out of
can
sight.
see it, I just go, I'm just going to check.
Oh God, no!
quickly."
I can't put it behind my computer because I'll reach around that computer super fast.
Yeah.
Mine needs to be like in the house, stay on the street. Like it needs to be locked
In the house,
away.
down the street.
I'm gonna go to a neighbor and say, "Can you hold on to this for the next hour? I have to write something."
And it's like be aware of the allure of easy tasks because your brain is
Yeah.
always doing a cost analysis on the fly without you wanting to and wants to put off harder tasks.
Yeah.
So if you have anything near you that you could just do a check email, check social media, go into the YouTube backend, whatever, like your brain is gonna be like, yeah, just quickly do that. Just quickly do that. You'll get a little bit of a kick out of it.
I hate. Well, I'm working on a video right now. We don't need to go into it. It's literally what happens when you quit your phone, and it's like we are so.
We're gonna be that generation,
controlled
aren't we?
By our phones, and our generation is gonna be the people who lived through the pandemic, and then allowed tech companies to frickin' commodify our attention spans, and we became horrible cyborgs.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
so next one.
Final thing is problem solving habits. Like obviously in a lot of ways people have to develop these on their own. The biggest one, and this is one of those things I kind of roll my eyes with, but it's like stay with it even when you're not making progress, because that's the moment that you want to quickly go to an
Oh,
easy
God,
task.
yeah, I
you know what I
hate
mean?
that.
So it's like even when you're not making a lot of progress, you have to be kind to yourself and you just have to push through it or not allow yourself. That's why I think phones are the worst, because
I
they
hate
provide
them.
immediate satisfaction.
And it's such stupid immediate satisfaction. It's like, you gotta like, oh, cool. Like,
and even not that, like sometimes it's even just like refreshing a page and seeing like more things.
Yeah, being like, oh, a new Reddit post. I hate this time.
Final things. I'm going to skip one of them, but the other was take breaks. There's a lot of evidence that proper breaks provide incubation for problem solving.
Okay, but then it's like, but then you're on a break and now you're on your phone.
But maybe don't use the phone. Just give yourself
What
breaks.
possibly could I do?
That is your problem. Like I can take a break and just like sit and stare.
Yeah, Mitch can stare at walls. It's really amazing.
But I still struggle with it. I still sometimes have to hide my phone on my breaks because if I see it, I am just like, it's more fun to just check my phone. And the final was just like interacting with others is really useful in problem solving.
Ugh, I wish that we had a job where we had to
talk to people.
Yeah.
Not just each other.
Even when I go on Zoom with people, I'm like desperate. Like they're like, okay, that's it. I'm like, hey, you don't want to talk about
right, Greg. You were the exact opposite. You're like, hey, this meeting needs to be over. It's so unproductive. We got to get the hell out of here. And I got to go do my 10,000 lists.
No, you're right. Yeah. Like, okay, fine. The Zoom was a lie. The Zoom was a lie. I hate Zoom
entire
meetings.
working relationship have I ever felt that you wanted to make a meeting last longer?
Well, know what?
You're linear, hun.
No, I would allow the meeting to last longer if we all just agreed to start talking about like the cities we were in and stuff. It's when the meeting is lasting long because people are pretending to do work. That's when I'm annoyed. But then I'm like, can we just drop this? Everything's done. Like, tell me about what. Like, tell me about your room and that weird vase behind you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to just immediately go to human interaction. But then a lot of people are actually like
pseudo work one.
They're like, now the facade of this quote unquote jobs we all have has dropped. Like, now I don't want to talk. Whereas I'm like, no, I just don't want to talk about this, which is work.
Fair.
But that's also like that. Like, yeah, clearly I've like might have good time management, quote unquote skills, but I don't with work. Like, I don't want to work.
No one wants to, do they? Actually, I was having this crisis earlier. I was like, do people want to work?
I don't. Some people do.
Yeah, and some people are like,
but do they, or
Here's
are they
the
lying
thing.
to themselves?
I remember. I think it can go in waves. I think sometimes it goes in waves for me, and I certainly when we started ASAP Science had so much motivation. Like I was really, really driven to be working all the time. I don't think that's necessarily healthy. Like now, I think I have a much healthier balance.
But we talk about, we know that like your sister, like our manager, like we are always like, I think they like to work, right? Like, don't
I
like, there are
assume
people
so.
who seem to really like it.
It's not that I don't like it though, but I sometimes wonder, like, there's this internal feeling of like, obviously we were just traveling and I was like having the best time of my life. And obviously you can't just do that all the time. But part of me is like, why not?
Sometimes you meet Australians and they are.
Yeah.
They're like,
people that we like met were like traveling for 6 months.
Yeah. And then they
Many
drag
of
you
them.
because you're like on a 10-day trip and because you have to go back to work. They're like, oh, that's embarrassing. I'm actually gone for 3 years. And you're like, oh, I didn't know that you were allowed to do that. And
like, I struggle with, I don't know. It's like finding that same balance of being like, what stress is good and you have to do. Like there is just things that you are supposed to do, I guess. But then it's like, I don't know. I feel stupid right now when I'm trying to articulate this. I'm sure everyone understands though, where it's just like, we just have to work. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't feel like it. But I guess I wouldn't want to just have nothing to do.
I know. But then
I wish when I was working
just read.
But eventually you get bored
fun.
of reading, right?
Well, then you get a new book. Well, I do
like working, but it is weird. I think because we work so perpetually, it's almost never by choice, right? Like everyone has to wake up and go to work.
Yeah.
I think if we didn't have like the structure of capitalism and the 9 to 5, people would still find work to do and they would still find things that they find interesting and compelling, but you'd get to kind of do it when you're inspired.
Universal basic income, babes.
Yeah.
And then just see what it is you want to do. And it might be in flux throughout your life and you'll still be working, but it'll be a lot happier because you're not trapped by the job that you hate. But there are just people I've met who I can tell like
just
to
like
work.
Love it, yeah.
And it always makes me be like, how the hell? Like, is there a screw loose? Like, I'm always like, how did this happen? And then but then again, sometimes I'm like, that's workaholic, which I think could be
right.
too.
And you don't know if it's, yeah.
But you know, those people like on planes that are just like
Working?
And you're like,
You're like,
oh.
there's a TV here.
I'm like, there literally is all the options.
No one's judging
for
you if you
TV.
don't work right now.
Yeah, like, and it's like, isn't that fun? Isn't the best part of flying when you get on and then there's randomly like a movie
show.
that you weren't sure you wanted to watch, but now you feel like you can?
Okay, but now a little bit you're lying because you do work on planes. I almost never, ever, unless I'm like on a crazy deadline.
I love how I just talk and then like immediately you're just like, that's lying. And I'm like, shit, it is.
It's not lying.
No,
Like, you're
but it's
not-
not, but I'm not ever doing, I'm like, people have like Excel spreadsheets or like emails and they're like firing off emails. But I'm usually like writing like, so I'm doing creative things that I like feel because I'm locked in this tube that is like absurdly flying through the air. It means like, oh, I can actually write like do a creative task that has nothing to do with my job. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like like a story or something. or I also watch a lot. I do watch things on planes. So
Yeah,
like
you sometimes do.
I do.
No, you do.
God. Okay, anyways.
Where do we go from here?
I think that you need to learn how to manage your time. The only reason I made this podcast concept was so that you would get better. Okay,
I don't think it's
thank you.
helped
I'm
me,
kidding.
to be honest.
Wait, this podcast?
No, I mean,
what?
like, I'm not sure it's totally convinced me of the merits of time management, especially finding out those cultural things. And just being like, it can be kind of beautiful that you don't always have to use time productively.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you just aren't gonna care, and that's fine.
But I think it's important to find what you resonate with and what actually brings you happiness.
and if it brings you stress, and to be honest,
Yeah,
you have
that's
a
true.
gay assistant, which is me, around you at all times, constantly helping you with time management.
I think that's why my time management suffers, because I let you do it.
Yeah, and I honestly
and now
do it.
We also
and
have
now,
an actual assistant as well. that-
yeah, and you have two assistants, me and your actual assistant. I think that I'm gonna stop managing your time, and I'm just gonna watch you flounder.
That's gonna hurt.
But
No, it's
what
actually,
if? But what if?
you will go crazy before I do?
No,
for
I'm just
sure.
gonna leave the house when you're panicking and can't make it or whatever.
That's fine, but the problem
But-
is that you will go crazy first. For
no,
sure.
I'm gonna have to get used to doing things without you, because I'll be like, oh yeah, he double booked because he didn't realize that was gonna take an hour. But then you have to be okay with it. Me being like, I'm allowing you to soar and fly on your own.
I didn't ask for this.
No, but that just
You-
means it just means that like when I'm not helping you with time management, you can't get mad that I'm not. Is that fair?
Wait, say again.
Like if I don't help you with time management and I sit back and watch you I love how I'm making this really dramatic. Watch you flounder and tread water. Will you be
I think
mad
I'll
at
be
me?
fine without you.
Okay.
Maybe I'll be happier.
Oh my god, that's so true. You're just gonna watch more Big Brother, and I'm just gonna sit there being like, and another, it's on again. Oh, it's on again. I'm just gonna go crazy and be like, do something with me.
Oh gosh. Okay. No. Yeah. I don't know how to end this because I don't know what I think. But what do you guys think of time management?
Reach out. #Sidenote podcast. We read them all on Twitter. You can also DM us and let us know if you're more a Greg, you love to manage time, or you're more a Mitch, you love to be really free and flowy, and maybe you have ancestors from Spain and Portugal.
Yeah, I feel like I have ancestors in India that maybe I feel like it's more chill there.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And it's like, what, mine are like German? Yeah, not chill. Nothing chill.
Okay. Thank you for listening. Go time manage your time. We'll see you next week.
Boss.
Bye.